I bring in the one and only MaNa from Team Mouse Sports. He's in the green trunks, and he is the northeast of this particular map playing BratOK. Let's hear it for MaNa. That's what I'm talking about. And in the red trunks, the one and only. He is from Imba FXO. MaNa is pausing the game and ruining my intro. He's doing this on purpose.
I don't know what he's doing. He's playing with his headset. He's getting his earplugs in.
Yep.
Maybe you distracted him.
Yep.
Okay.
BratOK stone-faced as always.
It's so scary.
God, he must get tired of that. I don't know. Maybe it's actually a really good advantage.
What, BratOK Stoneface?
Yeah, because he terrifies his opponents. Wouldn't you be? Let's start it again, shall we? Imba FXO's very own BratOK in the red trunks, and he is to the southwest. Let's hear it for BratOK. Oh, yes, a brilliant semi-final classic PvT matchup coming up right here.
Every time I look at BratOK's picture, I imagine the Rocky films, and I imagine that guy in the gym, round and round, smacking these things on the right-hand side, injecting steroids, training.
Are you accusing BratOK of drug abuse right here on the stream?
No, just the resemblance in the film.
You're not getting yourself out of this hole. I'm sorry. This is one deep, deep hole you've got into.
If you've got any problems with my casting, please forward any emails to my manager, Team Dingtus.
Oh, you are so fired. Alright, we've got BratOK right here, and of course MaNa. MaNa starting with the gateway on 13 supply, very, very standard. And as we've discovered from BratOK, standard really isn't in his vocabulary at the moment.
No, not at all. And I think that's what BratOK has to do in this kind of series against MaNa, simply because we've seen that by previous results, basically, that statistically BratOK does not have the best TVP. He's suffered a lot. I mean, especially if we look back at DreamHack Summer, losing 2-0 versus Naniwa. Of course, that's, you know, Naniwa. But also losing 1-2 versus Soke. Managed to take a game, though, but still hasn't really won any decent PVTs or TVPs, sorry, as of recent. So he's going to have to pull something special, and this gasless build could be it.
It could very well be, and the gasless build is indicative of one of two things. It's either going to be a gasless fast expansion, or of course it'll be a multi-racks play. Most likely, I would think, to be a gasless fast expansion.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the problem here for MaNa is he's going to go up, he's going to get denied scanning information. He doesn't even know that it's just a single barracks, doesn't know about Tech Lab or anything.
Not a clue.
And he's going to have no idea about that. So he has to play a little bit blind now. But at the same time, he's a very smart player. He will understand that this is Shakira's Plateau and be like, well, you know what? What's pretty good on this map is...
expansions.
Expansions.
It's pretty good on every map, expansions. But in this case, fast expansions. Very quick from the Terran.
So we'll have to see that it does MaNa throw that down. The SCV does come in. And once again, we're skipping that Zealot trademark from MaNa. We'll go into a Chrono Boosted Stalker, chase out this SCV, and then follow up with a bit of a scout with that Stalker. That is basically his only scouting option, really. Do a bit of harassment to that Marine on the edge of the ramp, and then poke up, see if that expansion is there or not.
I think by the time that Stalker gets there, BratOK will have 4 Marines, which may be able to effectively and aggressively shut down that scout. That said, I have to wonder if he will do that, because that seems to me to be a little bit too indicative of what he's actually up to at the moment. And what he's actually up to is going straight into a triple barracks, in addition to the one that he's already got.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of different varieties. You can go like 3 barracks, well, add on another 2, and then go into the refineries. But he's actually going to go for 4. I mean, he's going to get a large amount of Marines out. The thing is, we have to see how well can MaNa scout. If he just goes with sole Marines, it very well may be and a kind of aggressive all-in here, sending a lot of SCVs with a lot of Marines, and could take the game almost instantly. And it's all going to come down to how well MaNa scouts here.
Yeah, and that could be indicative of perhaps a little bit of nervousness in this matchup, because BratOK is not exactly known for, as you were saying before, these big PvT wins. He's actually known for some bigger losses in various recent tournaments. An aggressive playstyle could catch MaNa out. MaNa is, as you said before, the mouse sport style of BratOK, and this build is something you've seen very, very frequently. This 1 gateway expand follows up with 2 more. It can't really resist a big 4 barracks push. It just can't. It doesn't have the defense necessary to do so. And we've seen some ridiculous marine micromanagement from BratOK as well that could really help him, especially if force fields are coming down.
The only problem on this, well, in the kind of the style that BratOK's going for, is that force fields are going to be pretty useful, and especially on the ramp here. I mean, it's only going to take 2 force fields to wall this off, the lower ramp here, and then combine that with extra force fields and stalkers behind that. It's going to be really difficult to put this pressure on. Obviously, this is the very similar build to we saw Nada do against MaNa on Tal'Dorei Immortal, and look how that worked out. You know, it's not really that strong of a build here.
No, it is not, and we'll see if he can deal with it. Tech Lab on its way up, Stim working on for that one. No doubt looking for Combat Shield at this point, or perhaps Concussive Shell. Both of these are a possibility.
And MaNa takes control of the Xel'Naga. The robotics facility finishes. Will no doubt go into that Observer almost immediately. We'll have to see. I mean, he knows that the expansion's down now, he just doesn't know what follow-up it is, and that's the pain. Like I keep saying, it's the painful thing about playing Protoss is 7 minutes 30, and all you see is a bunker. So
you don't know anything.
That's pretty bad. I mean, it could literally be anything. He might even, because it could be anything, go ahead and get a second observer, and indeed he does. And a perfect scan here, sees the robotics facility, understands this was one gate expo, and does he actually see those 2 additional gateways? That could be, no, he doesn't. Okay, the 2 additional gateways are hidden up here by MaNa.
And this is interesting right here. We do have an earlier Ghost Academy than normal right here from BratOK, and throwing in an interesting mix. Not deciding to attack very early, which is probably a very sensible thing to do considering.
And what the plan now is that he's going to add on a couple of Ghosts. And this 4 push is changing a little bit from the style we saw Nada do not so long ago, and he's going to have a couple of Ghosts in there for some EMPs, which makes obviously this push a lot stronger. The problem is it gets delayed more, and the observer comes in and is like, oh, there's the 4 barracks, and he sees the late factory as well, and has to be wondering where that money's gone to. He's going to have a look around to see if there is an engineering bay down, if there is a Ghost Academy, and so on.
There's the scan, and he doesn't manage to catch it, and MaNa may be able to get around. He missed the Ghost. Will he find the Ghost Academy? He was going in the right direction, but the question is, will MaNa try to dip in again with that? And he's actually, once again, going in the wrong direction. He's not going to see the Ghosts yet.
Yeah, and now this push is coming. The 2 Ghosts have been revealed
there
now.
You go.
And MaNa knows what's coming. He's going to have to start warping in a lot of use. He's actually researching charge, and that is nowhere near going to be near completion.
Absolutely not. There's no chance. And while it is a good upgrade, if BratOK starts to apply pressure now, of course, it's only gateway units. I would like to point out the sentry count is only at 3 as well, so that's really easily EMP'd. Could be shut down before force fields are even placed. The question is, does BratOK decide to go for it? And he shoots apart one of those. A very nice shot on that observer right there. And I believe he EMP'd that. He must have.
Yeah, he did EMP that,
very
actually.
Nice.
And it's interesting. I mean, he's shut the vision out from MaNa. He's has to go and find out, is he attacking me? Is he going to go ahead and expand behind this? And it looks like he's just going to go ahead and expand behind and put a bit of pressure on. Maybe force probes to be stopped building, but MaNa hasn't done that. 57 probes right now versus the 48 of BratOK. Templar Archives has been done, well, been started now. And then the Zealot charge has been also, almost near finished now. We'll go for Blink almost immediately now. And this is the style of MaNa. He's so good for using Zealots.
Yep, Zealots and, of course, the fabled Mana Storms that are on their way. There's already 2 High Templar being prepared, and Psionic Storm is well on the way to completion. We can have a look at the army composition right now. What you're going to see is they're pretty equal. A slight army supply advantage right here for BratOK. And it is a 10-worker difference, which is not necessarily going to be compensated with by mules. That said, this expansion is going to be coming out fairly shortly, but it's also started for MaNa as well. So this is a fairly equal game thus far.
Yeah, definitely. 51 SCVs now, 61 probes. The probe count's getting a little high. Of course, we do have mules to help that out. Both of these ghosts now, this ghost actually has 2 EMPs ready, and the other one just has the sole 1 at the moment as they move out into the middle of the map. And these stalkers could be in a little trouble if he doesn't pull them back. He does have sight range and knows where BratOK's army is, so should be able to get all his army together at one time. And now Storm is done as well. So the Mana Storms, as you say, pretty
dangerous, very, very dangerous. BratOK with an interesting placement of a missile turret right there. Of course, 2 purposes for that. One, you can shut down observers with it if they happen to stray a little bit too close. And secondly, you can also use them to try and prevent Dark Templar attacks from the front right there. A quick stim forward, and he's going to try and grab those stalkers. Will he be able to nail them down more to the point? I think he's going to get 1 out of that, certainly, but he's got to be careful not to run into the storms. And of course, very cautious play there by BratOK.
5 more gateways have been thrown down for MaNa. He's up to 10 now in total. And that's a lot of gateways
That's
for
a
13
lot of
minutes,
gateways.
So.
Yeah.
And he's taking the third base. Getting double extractors almost immediately now. And +1 attack finishes for BratOK, as well as just starting the +1 armor. And here comes the Medivacs lifting up a lot of units and are going to do some drops. But look at that, Observer already in the way.
Oh yes, he is well aware that that is coming. Good observer placement there by MaNa. There's actually 3 on the map total, and he's already lost, what, 1 at least? So he's been rebuilding, he's well covered, and the missile turret, I assume, was to prevent that observer from getting close, but he, of course, didn't know that this one was already there. So he's going to be ready to receive this. Now, of course, the opportunity for MaNa is that he can actually stab in right here at this third. It is a planetary fortress now, which means the Zealots are going to take heavy losses if they try and engage.
But at the same time, he can bait the units down. And look at that, amazing!
Excellent feedback. Very, very well timed. Big storm in the middle there as well. The Ghost picked up almost immediately. And BratOK ate the full force of that. MaNa storm's coming down right now. BratOK just got annihilated.
Wow. And MaNa has this spell where Terran players just stay inside the storm.
Yeah, it's called Hold Person. I think you've got to be a level 6 mage to do it or something. Sorry, my D&D knowledge is a bit out of date. Oh dear. Oh no. That was not a good drop, not at all. MaNa completely cleans that up. He knew it was coming a mile away.
Wow. And MaNa, as he said in the interview with me, he's got this tournament apparently.
This is his win. This is what he said. And if he plays like this the rest of this series, then it will be his final, that's for sure. But Demago will be standing in his way.
A lot of warp gates, a lot of chrono boosts going out onto those warp gates now, and the unit counts 178 food versus 124. Eats a bit of a storm now, and this is looking pretty bad for BratOK.
Yeah, he actually runs into his own storm right there. I think that's one of the first times I've ever seen MaNa actually make a mistake with a storm, but he does have such a great advantage right now. It doesn't really matter. 97 army supply to 42. Now making his way into the natural, and BratOK has very little to hold this one with.
Could this semi-final number 2 get any more one-sided? MaNa is so good in PvT.
He's absolutely dominating BratOK right now. GG, ladies and gentlemen, and the first game in this best-of-5 series going to MaNa in an impressive display of absolute professionalism.